for those details, Nisha. Moving on, Chronicle, a startup building a modern format of presentation, has bagged $7.5 million. The seed round was led by Axel. Angels from Meta, Apple, Google, Slack, Stripe, and Adobe also invested in this round. Now, the startup will use the fresh funds to build the product faster, making a few more hires and also expanding its user base through a product-led growth approach. Joining me now to discuss this further is Mayuresh Patole, the co-founder and CEO of Chronicle. Mayuresh, thank you so much for joining us on Startup Street. Your company essentially, like I said, helps build a modern format of presentation. So talk to me about how it's different, how different your offerings are from, let's say, like a PowerPoint. How are you making the processes more efficient and different? Also, what led you to think of this idea?
Yeah, Chronicle is quite different from PowerPoint in that the output of Chronicle is not slides at all. It is a completely different format that is very engaging and interactive. Chronicle is also extremely convenient to create. Instead of drawing shapes and text and formatting those or spending hours to pixel push, you can create a really impactful and stunning presentation on Chronicle in minutes instead of hours. So it's 50x faster and easier. We also ensure that you cannot create a bad presentation on Chronicle. We believe that the problem truly is that not only are great presentations extremely hard to create, but bad ones are very easy. So we want to prevent that and want to bring good information design to people's fingertips. So that's how Chronicle is different. This really started with my own decade-long affair with presentations. I'd always been known for my presentations, and they were slightly different from traditional slides. Pursuing that and trying to answer the question that I got asked quite constantly around how I make my interactive presentations was how Chronicle started.
All right, great. Yeah, that's true. Making interactive presentations are a bit hard, but you've also got backing from angels angels from Apple, Google, Meta, Slack, Stripe, and Adobe. Could you share names? Also talk to us about the conversations with these tech leaders.
Yeah, I think there was tremendous interest in sort of being part of the journey. These are some of our favorite products, and we went out looking for operators who've played pivotal roles in some of these companies. Specifically, people who've shaped social media formats. That's where we drew a lot of inspiration from. We believe that a lot of these formats are the way that people consume information today, and so we wanted to get people on board who've actively designed and built these formats. I'm not at liberty to share exact names of the angels right now.
Right.
That list is also growing and evolving as we keep getting more and more interest. But yeah, that was sort of the thinking behind involving people from these companies.
All right. And you've raised $7.5 million. So what are you going to spend the money on? What's on top of the agenda at this point? I think we've lost our connection there. We're going to try and see if we can get him back on air. But at this point, Chronicle is a company that makes presentations. It has raised $7.5 million. And they've got backing from many angels like Stripe, Adobe, Meta, Google, and a whole host of these companies. So we're just trying to see if we can connect Mayuresh back on air. Mayuresh, can you hear me? Okay, so we're going to just, on that note, take a break, and we'll be back and see if we can continue this conversation with Mayuresh. And has backed $7.5 million. Mayuresh, it's good to have you back. I was asking you, you've raised $7.5 million. So tell me what's on the agenda. What are you going to use these funds for?
The focus is quite clear right now. It is to build a really world-class product. And to do that, we need top-tier, amazing founding members in the team. All of the funds would currently be deployed at putting this team together and building the product. That's the singular focus.
Right.
We will also take this product to our early customers, and those are the only two things we will spend this money on right now.
All right. And since you said to your early customers, you're currently in your beta phase, and you're working about with about 200 pilot users at this point. So what is available to your users in this phase, and when will we see you expand and open it up to everyone? What's the feedback that you're currently getting?
Yeah, we've handpicked these 200 users in order to give us like really meaningful feedback. As one might imagine, there is a lot of product features to build. but we really need to focus on something that drives value for these users. So we spend time working with this small set of users to understand what are some of the features that we should double down on and focus on. At the same time, because it's not slides, it's a different format, we really need to experiment rapidly and understand what's working for them and what's quite far out. So that iteration is what we are focused on with this small set of users. Over the course of this year, we will constantly release new sets of features, new blocks, new templates, and a lot more content that will help our users. And once that is all stable in the product, we plan on going towards a public beta and opening it out. So it will take a little bit more time, but that's sort of how we are spending the time with these early small set of users.
All right. So in a year, it's going to take you a year probably to do this, but since you're in your beta phase, you're obviously pre-revenue at this point. So what's the monetization plan and how soon will we see this monetization happen?
Yeah, after we go to our users, the next hurdle is growth, and then post that, it's monetization. As we open to public beta, we will start with a traditional sort of subscription model. We know that Chronicle's revenue model is that of a traditional freemium sort of SaaS product. So we will have a free offering for entry-level users. So individual users would be able to use most of the product for free. We'll have a team tier plan that small and medium-sized teams can use with some access to additional features. And a large part of the revenue will come from enterprise users, larger teams where we can have custom offering along with some services. We also think that the content and community will drive a large part of our revenue in the future as well. Monetization is surely an important part and one that I'm personally quite excited about, given my background. But it's the next set of challenges that we'll think about. Currently, the focus is to get to product market fit.
All right. And which will be your key focus markets? How big of a market will India be for you?
Chronicle is a global product. Presentations are ubiquitous, and every market that does presentations and storytelling, which is pretty much everywhere in the world, is a focus for us. We know that US would be the starting market where a lot of our initial revenue would come from. India would surely be a market that we would also target. A lot of our users, especially the early users, are from India because both the founders have backgrounds in India. People who trust us are from India. A good part of our investment is also from India. So India is an important market for us, but it is a global product, and we intend to build it globally as well as launch it globally.
Right. So India is an important market, but it is a global product. All right, Mayuresh, we're completely out of time, but many thanks for joining us on the show, and we wish you all the best going forward in this journey.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.